Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. It's a little bit more sunny today in Szczecin, which makes me very happy. The sun came out and we have a lovely day. What do I have for you today? Well, let me start with an update about the visit. You know, Donald Tusk, our new/old Prime Minister, went to Brussels to get the money. By the way, the statue behind me is very cool. So maybe if you go on my Instagram, I think I posted a picture there. If not, I might walk over there before I end this video so you can take a look. It's a very cool statue. So let me go into the topic. So he's supposed to go to Tallinn as his next visit and he canceled it. I'm not sure exactly what was the reason, but I think on Twitter the president or prime minister of Tallinn was expressing her sadness. Katia or Kaya? Kaya, right, is her name. She was expressing her sadness that he's not coming. I'm sure he will go, but well, oh well, life goes on. Now let's talk about this here. What we have: sanctions, more sanctions on Russia. By the way, привет everyone if you're watching from there. And I have two articles for you from TASS, and then I decided to look into those sanctions again and just remind you some of those sanctions that are still active on Russia. Like, do they really care at this point? Maybe in the beginning they kind of did, because they were not sure how this will affect the society, the country, but now, I mean, come on. So EU launches procedure to approve the 12th package of anti-Russia sanctions. Brussels from December 17th, which is today, 17th, good number. The EU has started the written procedure to approve the 12th package of sanctions against Russia, which includes the ban on supplies of Russian gem diamonds to the Union's member states, among other things. And this was said by a source in the EU institution in Brussels told TASS. So shine bright like a diamond, Russia, shine bright like a diamond, because you will have those diamonds being probably sold to China for a new year, February 12th, by the way, the year of a dragon, if you're wondering. It's gonna be fire. And the written procedure has been initiated. It will not take long. Sanctions will come into the force shortly, early next week, the latest. That's what was stated. The start of the approval procedure became possible after Austria's sanctions reservation was lifted. So what's up with that? Earlier, Reuters confirmed that Austria had given its approval to the 12th package of EU sanctions on Russia after Ukraine's removed Raiffeisenbank International from a blacklist. As you know, Raiffeisenbank is Austrian bank. So Raiffeisenbank was on the blacklist, Ukraine's blacklist. Austria had been pushing to remove the bank from a Ukrainian list dubbed International Sponsors of War. That's how it was named. That bank was an international sponsor of war by Ukrainians, which sets out to share companies doing business in Russia and supporting the war efforts by, for example, paying taxes, the agency said. So now let me read you some of those sanctions. Let me remind you some of those sanctions. I'm not gonna read you all of this because, like, what for really? But there were, of course, the personal sanctions on Putin, Lavrov, people of that caliber, right? Of the high rank officials. But let's go into economic ones. So in the economic ones, we have the financial sector, which was swift ban for 10 Russian banks, restrictions on Russia's access to the EU's capital and financial market, And now we have the energy sector, which was prohibition on imports from Russia of oil and coal. Now we go into the transport sector, which is closure of the EU airspace to all Russian-owned aircraft. Also prohibition on Russian roads transport operators. And the last sector that I chosen to remind you about is the raw materials and other goods. And that is prohibition on exports to Russia of luxury goods, prohibition on imports from Russia of, and here we go, steel, iron, cement, or how you say cement with accent, asphalt, wood, paper, synthetic rubber and plastic, seafood, spirits, cigarettes and cosmetics. So from my experience when I was in Moscow, like many of you already know because I recorded many videos, not just in Moscow, in St. Petersburg as well, you can still buy all the luxury goods. If those of you who are like fashion lovers, I was trying to use different word, but fashion lovers, addicts, fashion addicts, and you only care about designer brands from the West, you can still buy those brands. They are much more expensive, of course, but you still have access. And of course the stock is limited, okay? Stock is limited as far as sizing, etc. Now, as far as cosmetics, that was much more difficult with certain brands because they literally had no stock. But there are some websites that you can still buy them from. And then there are people who started the businesses. For example, they specialize being like kind of like a personal assistant in a way. So they are bringing those items from Dubai or other countries and then they are selling this in Russia. For example, you have clients, they place the order and that person fills up the list and they take certain percentage of it. I think it's like around 20%, 10% or something like this, something of that nature. So, for example, you still have the sizes, right? If you want exactly certain thing or a product. Now, what one of my favorite women in this world, Maria Zakharova, said in regards to those sanctions number 12, shine bright like a diamond. This should be the title of this video. Maybe that's what I will do because it's Sunday, so why not? And this is from yesterday, December 16th, from TASS. The new EU sanctions against Russia to cause more harm to the European Union. The official representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, noted that this dictatorial behavior of Brussels reveals in all its negative that the member states, my handwriting, reveals in all its magnitude, reveals all its negative magnitude, right? Magnitude that the member states are denied their democratic right to opinions and the protection of their own interests. It goes, this is quoting her, it goes as far as absurdity went through some manipulation when certain heads of state and government are not presented at the table, some legally questionable and obviously politicized decisions are made without which are as follows. On the start of the pre-accession negotiation with Ukraine and Moldova, which not only failed to meet the EU's elementary criteria, but directly ran counter to them, as well as on another package of restrictive measures against Russia. So she also said that this dictatorial behavior of Brussels reveals in all its magnitude that the member states are denied their democratic right to opinion and protection of their own interests. And she also said, one second here, I have more quotes from her. The most responsible politicians in European countries are more and more frequently prioritizing national interests over some mantras of European solidarity, which are out of touch with real needs. You know, I have to tell you, And I know this maybe doesn't sound nice or elegant, but there are not many men who have balls like Zakharova does. You need a spokeswoman or a spokesperson to be saying things straightforward, and many people don't like it because they like sugar coating and BS. You know, truth hurts, right? Not many people are ready or able to face the truth. It's unfortunate, but then they have a very, very hard awakening in life. And this is also as far as personal life. Guys, I'm not gonna go there, but I'm gonna take a picture of it and post it on Locals. So join me on Locals, you're gonna see the statue if you're interested. All the links to what I just read you are, as always, in the description down below this video. Lots of love, everyone. Before I end this, remember to join me on Locals. It's a safe platform. You find me there. Join my mailing list as well. Thank you so much for buying me coffee for my trip to China. Xie, okay? I'm not obsessed with China yet because I don't really know how it's there, so I'm just, I'm gonna go there and see, okay? I know there are many, many bad aspects about China, but there are also many good aspects, so we see it. We see it when we get there all together. Follow me on Instagram, and thank you for joining, for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and for being with me on this journey. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. Bye guys!